The Zephyrian High Command had studied Earth for 3 rotations before declaring war. Their xenobiologists confirmed what seemed obvious: a primitive species barely past nuclear fission, confined to a single world, squabbling among themselves, like juveniles. The humans possessed no energy shields, no plasma weaponry, no faster-than-light communication. They were, by all galactic standards, defenseless. Admiral Kexathara's mandibles clicked with satisfaction as her fleet of 1,200 vessels emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. The largest armada ever assembled by the Zephyrian Empire, enough firepower to crack planets and boil atmospheres. This would be over within a solar cycle. "Open communications to the 3rd planet," she commanded. "Let them know their betters have arrived." The response came faster than expected. Not from the planet's surface, but from a sleek vessel that had somehow appeared directly ahead of her flagship without triggering any sensors. "Greetings," came a calm human voice. "I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Corps. We've been expecting you." Kexathara's secondary arms twitched in confusion. Expecting them? The vessel before her was elegant, certainly, but barely the size of a Zephyrian corvette. "Surrender immediately, Primitive. Your species will be granted the mercy of servitude." "That's very generous," Captain Chen replied, and Kexathara could hear something unsettling in the human's tone. Was that amusement? "But I'm afraid we'll have to decline. You see, we've had quite a lot of practice at this sort of thing." "Practice?" Kexathara's voice rose to a shriek. "You pathetic creatures have never faced true warfare. Your conflicts are nothing but animals biting each other with sticks." "Animals with sticks," Chen repeated thoughtfully. "You know, that's not entirely inaccurate. But, Admiral, you seem to misunderstand something fundamental about humans. We don't fight despite being primitive. We fight because we're primitive. Every single day of our existence has been warfare. We've been at war with gravity since we learned to walk. At war with disease since we developed immune systems. At war with entropy itself since we discovered fire." As if summoned by her words, space around the Zephyrian fleet began to shimmer. Ships materialized from nowhere, not the crude metal hulks Kexathara expected, but vessels that seemed to bend light around themselves, their hulls inscribed with mathematical equations that hurt to look at directly. "Impossible," Kexathara breathed. "Our intelligence showed no such technology." "Oh, that," Chen said casually. "We may have been a bit selective about what we let you see. You spent 3 years watching us, Admiral. We've spent 3 years watching you watch us. Did you really think we hadn't noticed 1,200 ships massing at our border? Humans are paranoid creatures. It's kept us alive this long." The human fleet didn't attack. They simply existed. Kexathara counted perhaps 50 vessels, each one smaller than her dreadnoughts, yet something about their presence made her carapace itch with primal fear. "You cannot possibly match our firepower," she declared, though her voice carried less certainty than before. "Firepower?" Chen laughed, actually laughed. "Admiral, your weapons are impressive. Plasma cannons, antimatter torpedoes, gravitational disruptors. Very efficient. Very clean. Very civilized. But you're missing something crucial about human warfare. We don't fight fair." The first Zephyrian ship simply vanished. No explosion, no debris. One moment it was there, the next it wasn't. Then another, and another. "What sorcery is this?" Kexthera demanded. Not sorcery. Physics. We discovered something interesting about your shield technology. It's designed to repel energy and matter, but it can't stop information. Did you know that every particle in the universe is entangled with every other particle? Quantum mechanics is fascinating. We've learned to convince your ships that they're somewhere else entirely. More vessels disappeared. Kexthera's fleet began to scatter, but space itself seemed to work against them. Ships found themselves moving backward when they tried to advance, their targeting systems locking onto their own allies. This is madness, Kexthera whispered. This is Tuesday, Chen corrected. You want to know the real joke, Admiral? We've been having this conversation on repeat for the last hour. We've run this scenario 14 times now, each time learning a little more about your fleet composition, your tactics, your psychological profiles. Humans invented something we call a do-over, very useful in warfare. The truth crashed over. Kexthera like a stellar collapse. The humans had trapped them in a temporal loop, studying their responses, perfecting their strategy with each iteration. While she had been preparing for a single battle, they had been fighting the war a dozen times over. Why? She asked finally. Why reveal this now? You could have simply destroyed us. Because, Chen said, and her voice carried a weight that spoke of species survival, of evolutionary pressure, of 10,000 years of constant warfare. Humans don't just want to win. We want our enemies to understand exactly how outmatched they were. We want them to go home and tell their children stories about the species that turned physics into a weapon and time itself into a battlefield. Around them, the Zephyrian fleet found themselves whole again, ships restored, weapons functional. But something fundamental had changed. They had seen behind the curtain of human capability. You're free to leave, Chen continued. Spread the word across the galaxy. Tell them about the species that wages war with the universe itself and wins. Tell them that Earth doesn't just survive, it thrives on the impossible. As Kexthera's fleet retreated into hyperspace, nursing wounds both physical and psychological, she couldn't shake the image of that single human ship, impossibly small against the void. Behind them, Earth continued its ancient dance around its star, looking exactly as primitive and defenseless as it had before. But now the galaxy knew the truth. Humanity hadn't been conquered because it couldn't be conquered. It had been waiting, patient as entropy, for someone foolish enough to try. And when the next species inevitably came, drawn by the same fatal arrogance, Earth would be waiting still, wearing that same deceptive smile that had fooled the Zephyrians. After all, humans had been practicing warfare since before they knew what stars were. Now they had simply learned to fight with stars themselves.